The oldest records of human life are believed by many authorities to have originated in the valley of the Ganges River, that miraculous stream in Hindu religion which flows from the Himalayan mountains to the Bay of Bengal, reaching the zenith of its sacred power at Benares, the Hindu heaven, which we now behold. Perhaps in the whole world there is no stranger manifestation of human faith in the supernatural than that which is witnessed here on the banks of the sacred Ganges. If we could see beyond these ancient leaning towers, far into the mystic depths of India, we would behold countless Hindu pilgrims, Maharajas, holy men, beggars, thieves, the living, the dying, and the dead, riding, walking, or being carried to this Hindu heaven, where a sight of the holy spires of Benares and a prayer in the waters of the miraculous Ganges are all that are said to be necessary to the believing Hindu for the absolution of his sins. The first definite historical event known about Benares is that the ancient Aryans, from whom the white race is believed to have descended, worshipped here about 1400 years before Christ. Their religion was a simple adoration of the beneficent powers of nature, in which they worshipped the sky and the earth and the sun. They had no idols, and the nature they so worshipped provided their only temples. Out of this simple religion of the Aryans has come the present-day sun worship which is practiced by the Hindus at Benares. With the waters of the Ganges in their hands, they salute the sun, reciting the oldest prayer known to man. Let us meditate on the glory of the divine life-giving sun. May he enlighten our minds. It is said that 75 million worthless cattle, made and kept worthless by the Hindu religious code, roam the land, devouring annually millions of dollars worth of food, for which they produce nothing. To attain the desired end, these rites must be performed with absolute concentration. A wrong word, a mispronunciation, or false intonation will spoil the efficacy of the whole and bring misfortune to the performer, hence the intense earnestness and absorption with which they pray. "Who is my neighbor?" asked the Hindu, and his religion replies, "The man of your own caste." Oddly enough, the origin of the Indian caste system is attributed to the Aryan progenitors of the white race, who first introduced it to preserve themselves from the encroachments of other races. Foremost among the castes of India is that of the Brahmins. It is said that this caste, numbering some 14 million members, acts as an enormous influence to promote child marriage. The male Brahmin may marry whenever and as often as he likes, neither age nor condition of mind, body, or estate in any way impairing the privilege, but the girl should be married before puberty. If the arrival of puberty discovers the child unwed, her family is publicly shamed. At the Durga Temple, one of the 1,500 temples in Benares, the sacred monkeys come in for their share of the dole that is lavished upon the sacred cattle and the holy men of India. Although these monkeys have no religious connection with the temple, they have been breeding here for centuries, so that the place has come to be known as the Monkey Temple. Unfortunately for India, many of its holy men are notoriously unholy. They always beg and they sometimes steal. It is said that a vast army of these holy men, estimated at 1/4 of the Hindu population, subsist in idleness on the remainder of the Hindu people, chiefly because it is religiously meritorious to live by begging. And now we come upon one of the world's most interesting scenes, the famous burning ghats of the Ganges, the very portals of Hindu heaven, for each day is a resurrection day for those believing souls who are fortunate enough to be blessed by these ceremonies of cremation. The body is carried to the water's edge by the relatives of the deceased. Happy is the Hindu who dies within the sight of the Ganges, for he is transported at once, in his belief, by way of fire to Hindu heaven. While a low-caste Hindu prepares the funeral pyre, the body is removed from the stretcher and immersed in the soul-purifying water. According to his doctrine of transmigration, the Hindu believes that he has lived before, and at death his soul passes into another body, the nature of which depends upon the manner of his present life. Because of this theory, the meanest and poorest of mortals receive no pity, as they are merely paying the penalty for some offense which they are supposed to have committed in a previous existence. Life is common and death is common in India, for when one believes that he has many lives to live and many lives to die, one life and one death do not count for much. Cremation, the sacred rite of all Hindus, is a custom which goes back through the centuries to the earliest records of the Aryan race. Originally, primitive man made no effort to bury or destroy the remains of the dead. The bodies were usually left where they died, but as time went on, they were either covered by vegetation or thrown into rivers. The ancient Aryans are credited with having adopted the system of cremation, which they practiced here thousands of years ago, very much the same as it is practiced today. It was upon these funeral pyres that wives of deceased husbands once threw themselves to be burned alive in the abominable practice of Satyaism, which, thanks to the praiseworthy intercession of Great Britain, is no longer practiced in India. Through cremation on the banks of the Ganges, all Hindus hope that their souls will quickly escape from their bodies and become one with their divine source, as the river becomes one with the ocean. And finally, the Hindus believe that the best of all and the end of all is a dreamless, eternal sleep. In a few hours, all that was mortal is burned to ashes, and thus another human soul has finished the painful cycle of transmigration on earth and is about to re-enter in union with the Absolute. And so we have witnessed a passing chapter from life and death on the banks of the sacred Ganges, where the forefathers of the white race once worshipped the rising sun and cremated their dead, even as it is done today by another race, a race which believes that human bodies must be mortified in order that human souls might be glorified. And it is here that we say farewell to Benares, the Hindu heaven.